start with our statement. The Pennridge School Board welcomes public comment. According to Policy 903, we remind everyone of the following. Public comment shall be limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise specified by the board. Participants must be recognized by the presiding officer and note their name and municipality. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer rather than to individual board members, district employees, or members of the public. A speaker may speak once during each comment period. Please note that these sessions are designated for comments. To protect the confidentiality and privacy rights of all members of our community, the board encourages members of the public to direct any comments regarding particular individuals, such as students or district employees, privately to the superintendent or other appropriate administrator, or to communicate with the board privately by sending an email to psdschoolboard@pennridge.org. Questions raised and not addressed may be followed up at a later time. So having said that, I now welcome public comment. Okay.
Sue Furlong, West Rock Hill Township. This isn't really just directed towards any one board member. It's shared by several. I went to the district website today for the board meeting, specifically to the minutes section of the board part of the website. And I see where the minutes have been closed out for 2016-17. So I went in and I looked. And for the board, the minutes are missing for the June 19th meeting and the July 25th meeting. I think July, I wrote down 2016 here. I don't know if that's correct. Policy minutes are missing for May 10th, 2017. Activities is missing for June the 20th, 2016. Personnel is missing for August the 3rd, 2015. Maybe that's 16. I apologize for that. Personnel for September the 9th. Personnel for November the 11th. And personnel for May the 4th. So anyway, there's a number of missing minutes. And I'm just curious, I see this as the responsibility primarily of the board member who heads up that particular committee. I know that you work closely with an administrator, but ultimately it is your meeting that you are conducting. So I would like to see those particular items cleaned up, filled out, completed. I think also per the Sunshine Law, the minutes are a way to communicate to the public what has happened. Now, we get criticized routinely by this board, and it kind of flows down through the administrators when you ask for a right to know. So at the bare minimum, minutes should be timely and complete. And so I think that that's your half of the bargain. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully, I'm sure people will look into those missing minutes, and hopefully once everything is full, we're using the board docs, but once that is up and running, I think all of those things should be smoother.
No, you need to go back.
I understand what you're saying. I understand, yeah, so I'm sure people will go back and look and clean that up. I'm just saying going forward, that I think it will be an easier process, that all the information will be posted in one place. All right, any other public comment? Okay, so we'll move to the only item on the agenda, which is the overnight trip request for the cheerleading nationals in Orlando, Florida. And Dr. Price, do you want to say anything about that?
Sure. This is one that we didn't want to wait to our regular scheduled September meeting, only because there is a concern with all the teams are competing for flights right now and have been for a little while for the national cheerleading competition in Orlando. This is a February trip. This is February 9th to the 13th. And so Coach Loeffler and David Babb and myself and Gina DeBona have been talking about this for a little while now. But she was gracious enough to come tonight if we have any questions. This is the similar trip that they've attended in the past. This is the one that is the overnight trip is out of state, which is why it's in front of this committee. There are a couple school days missed here, Friday, Monday, and Tuesday, which is similar to, is the exact same as last year, actually. So if there's any questions, Coach Loeffler's here. Otherwise, we're asking that this trip gets moved forward to our August board agenda for approval. And then after that, she knows she's able to start making arrangements.
Last year, how did the buses end up working out last year, remember, to the airport? Was it the school district that provided it or the organization?
Can you speak up a little bit, please?
I was inquiring about the buses, whether we paid for them or the cheerleading boosters did.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I know we talked about that last year. Linda, you looked into this when we talked about it. I just forgot though what the actual answer to that was.
The school district did pay for busing to and from the airport for us, Philadelphia.
Thank you.
And that was on school buses then?
It was school buses.
School buses, yeah.
Did they leave Thursday evening last year?
I'm not sure what they did last year, honestly,
I
because I wasn't
remember
the
it was
coach
that
last
they
year.
left school, like, you know.
They
left
did, you're
it
right,
at
they had to leave
midday.
school a little
So was
bit
it
early.
Thursday evening?
Yes.
So this is planned to be a Friday?
Our flight is,
departure?
we're hoping to leave
That's why
between
it's
5 and 6 a.m. on Friday
Is it
morning.
too
Yeah.
far out to know for flights yet, or?
It's not, but we were asked to wait for flights until we got
Oh, okay,
approval.
okay, yeah, because I was going to say, I don't remember them leaving on a morning.
Yeah, I know for a fact there's no Thursday evening flights that will allow them to not miss school. They would have to miss school. I think the last flight that leaves is like 5:15,
Oh,
which means they would have to leave school early, so we're trying to avoid that.
Early.
I know that was a
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I had a question about the college recruiting day.
Yes.
Because we've had this trip come before the committee
Okay.
the last several years, and there was never any talk about the college recruiting day. So I was just wondering if you could share some information about that.
Of course. This year we have 3 teams that are going to nationals, and I can't really say what happened last year because I wasn't part of it last year and what their itinerary was, but we do have 3 teams that are attending. We have a traditional varsity, a non-tumbling varsity, and a JV team, and each of those teams will compete 3 times. Hopefully there'll be a preliminary round, semifinals, and finals. So they'll compete 9 times basically over Saturday and Sunday. There'll be no time for college recruiting those 2 days. At nationals, truly the best of the best college teams go there. Their coaches go there for the specific, purpose of recruiting kids. They sit there, they watch the routines, and they recruit kids from that point. The reality of cheerleading is that there's really not a lot of colleges in Pennsylvania that give scholarships for cheerleading. You have to go to the South for it. Kentucky, Alabama, they're the ones that give big money, and they're the teams that are there. So I feel like as a coach, I'm doing a disservice to the kids if I don't put them in front of those coaches for potential scholarship money. So that's what we would be doing on Monday.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm just wondering, is it a coach meet and greet? I'm just wondering what the event is on.
No, it
Monday.
actually is, the way it's set up, there's a place where the teams basically meet. They've already looked at the teams. They know the kids that they're looking at. The coaches are there with parts of their team, and they actually have the kids come and work with their team. So they'll get a good idea if this is a girl who's going to work well with their team or not with their team.
Oh, so they have a little practice, so it's almost like.
It's almost like a little practice, yeah. So the coach can really evaluate the girl and see what their skills are and see if they would be appropriate.
Are they, so it would be mostly juniors who would be.
They could really look at anybody, but seniors, they would be looking at juniors and seniors, yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder with the juniors, what the NCAA rules are about talking to coaches off campus before, just something to look into.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
They're allowed to at that point.
it's July 1st.
They're,
As a junior.
Yeah, as a junior, I believe they're allowed to at that point.
Oh, really? What?
I think it's a rule as far as how the communication's initiated.
Yeah, it's just something to look into. I'm
Okay.
just checking on the NCAA rules when they're allowed to talk to coaches off campus. Because some of the sports, I thought the general guideline was July 1st,
Okay.
after their junior year. But some sports have specific rules.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into it though.
But that's a great opportunity for them.
It really is, yeah.
That's wonderful, yeah. Anybody have any other questions? Okay, so everyone's fine, we'll put this on the August 21st agenda to be approved. Okay. All
Thank
right,
you very
thank you
much.
so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, so that's our only agenda item. Any public comment before I close this meeting? Okay, so activities is adjourned. Thank you.
Good.